I'm just going to invite us. I know already in my own body, I'm noticing I don't want to let go of any of the gold dust of the wisdom of Lynn and her expressions this morning. But knowing that even in listening to Lynn, we're already beginning to embody that wisdom and that remembering before we even go into our inner experience. I'm just going to invite us now just to take a moment, just to grow quiet, just allowing you to really rest in your space, in the location or the country where you are, just really noticing your physical body being in your own environment right now. And I really just want to invite us just to momentarily really get a sense of the rhythm of your breath as you're breathing in and as you're breathing out. Really inviting you to attune to the rhythm of your breath right now. It's the source of all life. And just following it for a few moments. As you breathe in and as you breathe out. And just becoming aware of your whole physical being right now. Starting with your feet. And the ground and the earth that is underneath your feet. That connection to the earth. Becoming aware of the bottom of your legs, moving up to your thighs, right up to your belly, torso, shoulders, neck and head. Down through your arms and right to your hands. Really becoming aware of your whole physical being. It's not just a physical being, it's way much more. Connecting with the physical living cells of our body that contain and hold all of our memories. Just really dwelling with your whole physical being right now. Just allowing it a few moments of your presence. Just keeping it company. Now I'm going to invite you to allow your awareness to just naturally come back to your breathing again as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And just following it nice and gently. And as you're taking in that breath, almost allowing your awareness just to drop down inside through your throat, torso, and tummy, even right down to that belly button, just that inside place. Just inviting you to sense just momentarily how you're feeling. I'm not going to get into that, I just want to get a whiff of it. Just how you're feeling freshly in this moment. Now I'm going to invite you to take a little step back from that. There's you and that part, and we know that that's there, but now we're going to invite you into a space to be with the whole living cells and the marrow of your bones that contain within ourselves so implicitly the memories of our life, those lived experiences. I want to invite you to gently notice and allow to emerge from within your being and your body a time when maybe you were able to step through that little doorway that Lynn speaks of and have a sense of that more vast space. Really inviting you to allow that to emerge from the whole of your being and living cells. Pausing to notice what comes as you do that. Receiving whatever is there. There's a sense of remembering and memory, really dwelling with that. Really sensing into the feel of all of that. Allowing that to fully form. Noticing freshly how that feels now in this moment. In your body. Really creating that open stance to receive whatever it wants for you right now. Memory of that vast space through that doorway. Maybe images, memories of different things, colors, whatever is there, really absorbing it. Really allowing it to form for another few moments and accompanying it. And just gently maybe marking that place to return to, having a sense of gratitude for this experience this morning. Return to that part of you later in our breakout groups, marking that if that fits. And then gently and slowly, going at your own body's pace and rhythm, allowing your awareness to come back more into your space and your environment, and then back into our virtual gathering and group.
Thank you so much, Derek. Thank you. I love this experience of being able to share something with you and then having this wonderful opportunity with different people every week to experience something of it. What I was very aware of in that moment, in that quiet time, was that it isn't only memories of being in the what I'm calling the big space that are a doorway uh, into this transcendent, large healing space, but any memory that comes to us that we enter into becomes rich with meaning. I think that it's the both the beautiful memories, the memories that we don't hardly even notice, that we haven't savored or digested, but it's also the painful memories that can bring us riches and deep meaning, and the sense of um, opening. And so I just want to mark that we're not only talking about remembering something beautiful, which is very important to do, but allowing any particular memory that wants to come in that moment. It's like a memory is also like a poem that brings us what we need to be digesting in that moment. So let's be, that was my comment. Let's see what anybody else's comments are. Isabel, I'm handing it over to you to recognize people.
But everybody has been unmuted, and I think in the past people have just come forth and share, and that's okay. No need to acknowledge. I feel that people are responsible.
Absolutely. I think Roberto might have wanted to say something. He was lit up. But anybody who has anything that you would share about this experience, not necessarily the memory, the particular memory that you'll share in the group, maybe with your other three people, but the experience of doing this, or your experience of the role of memory um, in bringing you through that little door.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I had an experience of through the listening about memory and remembering some. So some memories came from a kind of a cluster of memories, and thematic cluster of memories from a particular painful time that is gotten, evoked it in this particular time of my life. And so I held that, and then when Derek was doing the attunement, and there were memories of that, of having gone through that larger space, and then kind of being able to embody that. Then there was a wonderful question that Derek asked, was about, does that's being in that space have something to say? And that space spoke to the painful memory, and to the younger person who was in that, who was embodied in that memory, and that was quite powerful.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't so much that the difficult traveling into the difficult memory took me to that doorway and through it, which has happened many times, but it was kind of like both of those, and then that remembering that big space had something to say to that constricted person inside those early memories. Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. Reminds me that in that big space and in the focusing door, time has a whole different quality. It's not time, and everything is there in the moment. And your younger self is there. And I love how we can be our younger selves and have the big space speak to our younger selves at that time, in that way.
I love the idea that you can create a memory, that you can go back and give that little child a memory that, you know, that she would love, and then she can remember, you know, and I'm definitely gonna try that. I think that that's wonderful. That the memory is fluid. We can create a memory.
Absolutely.
Lynn, you said something, I mean, the experience was wonderful for me, and it just reminded me that lately, I think because of the pandemic, I've been in memory a lot. And it's a quality of smell, like it's almost like I'll remember, and they're all good memories, like I'll remember like the flow of the experience, or the feeling good, or the love, or the smells. And they that every decade in my life had a different scent.
Wow.
Yeah, and I could smell it almost, you know. And because of the pandemic and there's no pollution, like everything smells more, like the flowers smell. Like I walk in the backyard and it's like, holy cow, like every memory is sparked by a scent. But you know, it also reminded me when my husband passed away, I did hospice at home. He was a therapist too, so he was able to talk to me about the dying process. And it was a very interesting experience to be in these two places of love and loss. But at the end, when he was almost dying, he was in a good place, and he told me that he was ready. And he said to me, I just want you to always remember there's no death. He says, I could be in multiple moments at times. I could be a child. I could be here with you. That's why I always say, what time is it? What day is it? He says, they all blend together and they're like this. And it was, and he says, and in the end, he says, what I've learned is that there's only love in the middle, in there, all of it. It's like a palpable love. And doing this, it was like if I was in all those places at once, and then Derek got me back here. And that, you know, that, yeah, you said it, time is fluid. There was a fluidity.
Yes. Thank you, Annecy. It was wonderful to hear that, and could feel that memory coming alive with new meanings as you were speaking about it.
Yes.
I want to share a really interesting or powerful coincidence. It's because I've been doing some projects on the topic of trauma and how a traumatized person can have that feeling of the relativity of time. So I feel like the time is only a concept, and it's only relevant. It's what we feel at that moment that defines where we are. And it's just really beautiful to see that reflected in the session today, because I was just writing about that a few hours ago.
Thank you, Sally.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Sheila. I just really wanted to thank Nancy. I don't know how to say your name. That was beautiful. I came in a little late, but as soon as I heard the, going into memory, I wasn't remembering anything in particular, so I just had the thought, well, I can just kind of make up the best ones. And my mother recently passed away, so I've been having a lot of memories of her. And immediately I smelled her Persian lamb coat and a certain perfume. And first my mind kicked in and was like, that's not exactly how it, whatever. And then I just thought, well, smell and scent you can make up parts, but it was so helpful to keep coming back to that freedom in a way. We don't have to try to remember, we don't have to force it, it's in ourselves. And I think you said it, like as soon as I got into the cellular memory or the experience in my body, transcendent of time, a lot of other just quick images came. Then I went back, but I wanted the one with my mom, so I kind of went back to it. So I find the role of memory and imagination very interesting, and I just wanted to thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sheila. That role of memory and imagination sort of go together in that way. And that was beautiful. Thank you.
How are you? True pleasure to be with you. How did you pronounce your name?
Mintu, I remind you about the week long.
Ah, yay! Oh, wow.
Tomeo and I. Yeah. And then
Oh, wow.
what I need to do to go to the room? Oh,
No, you are in a
now.
room. Somehow you, me, and Lynn are in a room. You know, the rooms are
Perfect.
assigned.
Perfect. Okay. I know you, Isabel.
Yes, yes. Let me just bring one person from here. Move it to room. Let me see what room we're in. Because this person, okay. So yay. Look at that. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
This breakout room. I'm just looking to see if any group has more than 4. No, they all good. Okay. Yeah, no, we good. Okay. All right.
How are you, Isabel?
Estoy bien, gracias. Un
Mira,
placer verte.
bien, hablamos en español también.
Sí, qué coincidencia, ¿no?
Qué bueno.
Que tocáramos en el mismo salón después de tantos años,
Sí,
porque hace bastante. ¿Cómo has seguido?
en el 2015. En el 2015.
Sí, sí.
Ah.
Hi, Lynn. Look, Randolph, we just assigned.
Oh, isn't that exciting? Wow. And we're with Mintu.
Yes, I met you in Mexico, Lynn.
Yes, I remember.
From Spain.
Yes.
We went to Mexico, the last international focusing.
Yeah, how exciting. I heard when I came back from getting my drink, I heard you speaking Spanish there. How wonderful. We want to have a help the helpers that's all in Spanish. So.
Yeah, Spanish.
Maybe you can do that.
Yeah,
Meant to.
Lynn,
I didn't mean to volunteer you.
Well, maybe, yes. If you're interested, Mintu, let us know, because it'd be wonderful to have one that's all in Spanish.
Yeah.
I would love to collaborate with you, and maybe even Linda from Force.
Yeah.
So maybe the 3 of us.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. Wow. We're creating something we're supposed to be remembering, but we're creating something new to experience the memory of the future somehow.
Oh, wow.
Mintu, could you be our facilitator and just call on each one of us and help our little group?
Yeah.
Like to speak. Who would you like to hear from first?
How do you, I don't hear.
She said, who would you like to hear from first? Are you the facilitator?
So.
¿Qué es lo que me gustaría compartir?
Sí, no, tienes que llamar a una de nosotros para que hable primero, o a ella o a mí primero, para que hables qué es lo que recordamos.
¿Qué es lo que recordamos? Okay, Isabel. Okay, Lynn. You want Lynn?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead first.
The experience that I had, I was thinking that I wanted to remember a moment of that feeling of being in the big space. But what I remembered was yesterday going into the city, and my friend had been in charge of looking after my apartment and watering the plants. And when I came in, the apartment seemed abandoned. I mean, of course, because I wasn't there for 2.5 months, but my plants were mostly all dead. And it
Oh.
oh, pain.
Oh.
It felt so symbolic also, and I love those plants. I mean, they weren't all dead. A few of them were surviving, but many of them were dead, and it just felt like my children. And it felt so much like, something of this pandemic, that some things are thriving, but some things just are being killed off and neglected. And my friend was there with me. And the moment that I remembered was the moment of our sitting at the table. She had brought me a beautiful croissant. Isabel will like that. She loves and she was so upset that my plants had died. She had forgotten to water them that last week. And it was the moment of our looking at each other. She had tears in her eyes, and I was feeling just devastated in that moment. And it was a moment of pain and love and complexity and forgiveness. And it seemed so important that we connect about this, and not that she feel blamed, but that I didn't have to hide my real feelings about it. I couldn't hide my feelings. It was a moment of complex connection. And when I remembered that moment, it brought all of the meanings of that event, of the symbolism as well as the reality of my plants having not been watered and having died, and the need to connect, not to blame, and the love and the pain that would go together there. And the gratitude for the croissant and for the care at the same time. So it was a way of digesting this whole experience.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Mental.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go next if it's okay, because thank you, Lynn, for sharing that. It really that, especially that piece about, I don't know if it's death as much as it's transformation. Things will never be the same. And for it, and to live in that things will never be the same from this moment forward, right? Today marks the whatever anniversary it is from the day I came here back in 1978.
Oh, wow.
And it's so, and it's a sort of remembering for me, because things were never the same. Although I was 12 when I came here, and a lot has happened, but there's something at the core that has remained, though. And so I remember that day as if it was today. It was such a beautiful and sunny day, and I remember exactly what I was wearing that day, and my mom and my dad and their friend picking me up from the airport. And now I live very close to the airport, but it's that memory of just like coming into the newness of this country. And driving from the airport to the Bronx, and the difference and contrast between, you know, where we were coming from and when I landed in the Bronx back in 1978 was a decade of fire in the Bronx and other places of the city. It's a lot of economic, and it feels, so that's a remembering of in this moment for me of how that felt, the gloominess, the sort of like despair as to how somehow it feels now. And yet from that, I know that I survive and that I'm here and that I progress and that so it feels like it's helpful to connect with that time and know that it will all be okay. And so that's how this came for me today, while we were doing this, you know, the attunement.
How old were you, Isabel? When
I
you
was 12. I was 12.
goodness.
I was gonna turn 13 in December, but it was just such an amazing moment because culturally, you know, I was coming here and I was speaking the language. I was gonna start high school in September. So there was a lot of newness in the in the transformation. There was also a lot of newness and beautiful changes. I was coming to be with my mom and dad, you know, and this is how it feels now, that there's something bigger than what I can understand about this moment in terms of transformation. Because when we say transformation, is that it can never be what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
That, you know, so it's not change, it's a transformation. So just want to express deep bows of gratitude to Mentu, who I met at the week long in 2015. She just reminded me of, and we were in small group together a lot, and we talked a lot, and we share a lot. So thank you.
I have good memories about Isabel. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
It's,
Okay.
it's
Thank you for
striking that moment of the dreariness, but then that led to this transformation. And I guess you knew that nothing would be the same. Yeah, yeah.
I can share my memory. I understand more than I speak. My speak in English is, well, is little, is not fluently, but I try.
You're doing a great job.
If you want to, you can speak in Spanish, and Isabel will tell me, will translate.
No, no problem. I'll do that. Okay. When I was little, maybe 8 years old, I remember my mother and I was to the church, and it was for I don't know, Isabel, la comunión, when you
The first communion.
first communion, yeah. And then we are maybe 100 children for the first communion, and my family and I was the last en el último banco, the last bank, you know?
The last bench.
Because the priest said, okay, the last bench, because someone had to stay the last, you know? It's not for any reason. Okay, and I say, Mom, for me it's very important, the first communion. I don't want, I am hungry to stay the last bench. You know, I feel like, oh, I don't see, because I was little, and I said, I don't see, you know, it's a very big, for me, place. It's a very big place. And then my mom said, I feel angry with the situation. And my mother said, no, you must be a good girl. You have to sacrifice, and and I feel like a guilty. Oh, I am not worthy to take the first communion. I am not worthy. I am very bad girl. And after after many years after, I said, okay. When I was maybe 18 years old, I said, okay, I was invisible from my mother. Before I said, no, it's me that I'm guilty. I feel guilty every time. After I said, oh no, my mother, she poor, she doesn't listen me, she doesn't. This is an example, but I have another examples.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I am sad, or I am angry, or I am fear, my mother, she doesn't listen,
Yeah.
And then I feel every time sad, and like I don't feel a safe space, in the group, in the familiar group. We are 5 sons, and I don't feel. And then after I had, no, when I was teenage, I had very good friends, very good friends. They support me and they listen me, and I felt love, and and acceptable, and and it was very important when I have memories. I miss the group. I need the group, because myself grow, and my mother, poor mother, she doesn't know how to listen me, and no, not only me, is they are not they she's not prepared for these feelings. And now I grow up, but I feel I miss the group,